Day there were some questions. One of them was, when is Otto going to take his shirt off? You know, this video's been viewed millions of times.
Yeah.
Hagen does that on a Sunday afternoon at the Indy Fitness Gym
Two
with
times a week.
nobody watching.
2 times a week, right?
I could see myself being, the first person, or, if somebody does do it now, the lightest person to ever squat like 1,100 pounds one day.
What's up, everybody? Chad Dunham, Indy Fitness. All roads lead to the gym. Today, I got, obviously, my co-host, Nicholas Otto Assad, as usual.
Yo.
Chance Main had to take the day off. He had more important, pressing things to do. We also got our special guest, co-host today, Hagen Henderson, 1,000-kilo lifter. We're going to talk a lot about that. And a lot, if you've listened to the first three, I've probably mentioned him in every one because he just does things that nobody else does. He's seen him do things I've not seen anybody else do. We're also going to get to some questions today. You guys sent in some questions last week. We're going to get to those questions. If you guys have questions you want us to go over, man, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Let us know. We'll try to get to them. First things first, let me introduce Hagen Henderson. Really putting himself on the map as one of the strongest men in the world. Squat over 900 pounds. I think what's your max right now? 912?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
912. Squatting in the deadlifting in the 800s.
Yep.
And his bench is around 5. I think that it should be a lot higher. He does too, but he's had some pec problems. But even with a sore pec, he can still bench 500. So pretty amazing stuff. Over here to my right, there's a singlet that Hagen gave to us the day that he hit the 1,000-kilo threshold, which was a major, monumental stepping stone for him to get into some major contests. And we'll get into some of that too. First off, why don't you just tell us who you are, where you're from, what you're about?
Again, I'm Hagen Henderson. I'm from Chanute, Kansas. Been powerlifting for now almost 5 years. Made significant strides in the sport over the last 5 years. Just a average guy that lifts a lot of weight.
Yeah, when he says he's an average guy, I mean, he's average in the fact that he grew up in southeast Kansas like I did. He's average in the fact that he has a regular job, blue-collar job, just like a lot of people. But what he does in the gym is far from average. Like me and Otto are in awe. Like if I'm out there and I could squat, 450, and I can feel that on my shoulders, and I go down and I come up and I'm about to pass out, and my brain feels like the vessels are about to pop and my nose is about to bleed, and then Hagen comes along and doubles that. I mean, literally doubles it with no spotters, which is I've seen him fail on a few squats, and when he does, he just walks out from under. He just sets it down, says nope, and walks out from under it. What do you think gives you the ability to do that?
I just think going back to doing sports all my life and having good mobility and making sure that mobility has always been there. So, the biggest thing is with powerlifting, I feel like everybody gets really stiff. They don't take the stretching as seriously. So, going back to all the explosive sports with football, wrestling, track, I felt like since that was where I started with workouts, I feel like it just translated over that I just kept doing the same stuff with warm-ups and stuff.
Did you excel at those other sports?
Yeah, I'd say I was a above average football player. I wasn't no great football player, but I was a 240-pound running back. So, I was pretty quick. So I felt like the explosiveness was always there. When I was in 8th grade, I could hang clean 225 as an 8th grader. So, I was always strong from an early age.
I'm 35 years old. I give that a try every couple of weeks.
So,
shit.
I just feel like they did help. I didn't start wrestling until I was in 7th grade, so obviously a little bit later than most people. But I was pretty solid at that. And then track was probably the one I was the best at. I was, only 5'9", but almost a 200-foot discus thrower. So
You didn't run distance or anything like
no,
that?
no. Did the fat man relay one time.
All right, so a couple of years ago, you come into Indy Fitness. I think you came in here with somebody and just lifted, and I was kind of like, this dude's kind of got something going on here.
Strong as shit.
Yeah. And then, you had a couple contests. You had went to USA Powerlifting Nationals in Las Vegas. Didn't quite perform the way you wanted to.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, I'd planned on getting engaged there in Vegas, and so that day before the meet, we took a bus and went the opposite way of where we were going. And
Not on purpose.
No. And so we got off at the next bus stop, not knowing, like, I thought when they'd stop there that there was another stop on the other side of the street. And then we get across there, start walking a little bit more, and then somebody told us it was about 3 miles the other way.
Oh, shit.
So we were walking out in the Vegas heat that whole time in the middle of the summertime, and then I ended up losing like 13 pounds of body weight, just sweating so much there. And then, the next day I'm just like showing up to weigh-ins way light, trying to pound back all kinds of fluids and eat, and
Off balance.
I went like 4 for 9. I missed a lot of lifts.
But still, when you say 4 for 9, your total's like
It was like 1940, and I still got third in the
Holy
U.S.
shit.
So Hagen invites me to go to a powerlifting meet and watch him down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I don't remember the name of the meet. It was a USA powerlifting meet. And he goes there, and there's no competition there for him.
Yeah.
And there's no one even close. He won the Open, won they call it juniors,
Yeah.
which you were, 22 at the time?
Yep.
And also lifter of the entire meet. And it was kind of surreal.
Yeah.
When he goes out and he says, well, I'm going to scratch on my last squat because there was no one within 200 pounds of him.
To have that option. You know what I mean? To have that option to just be like, you know what, I'm just going to, you know?
The thing that I'll say, Hagen, he is young. How old? You're 24 now, which is in powerlifting years is super duper young.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
these guys that are setting world records, they're in their 30s. And so, not being very far off from the squat record. Now, your squat, when we say 912, there might be people watching this that think, oh my gosh, he's got the squat suit and he's got knee wraps. Kind of tell us like the difference and what the different things are and how they classify those.
Yeah, like so in powerlifting they got the sleeves, which is what I use, which is considered raw. It's pretty much compression sleeves. Just, there's a little bit of support just for the legs and stuff, but it's the same thing as when you use elbow sleeves. It's just for compression. Versus like you see a lot of these guys that are squatting, 700, 900 pounds, maybe more, that are using the wraps, which those are considered like equipped, so they're supporting you, helping you lift it.
And then a squat suit, it basically stands you up, right?
Yeah. Last meet that I went to, I saw some people that were putting their trunks on, like the singlet, and whenever they would like get it all the way up to like their stomach, they had to like have somebody wrap it around like something to hang off of.
What?
To like actually get them to get in the suit.
Yeah, and so you don't do any of that.
No.
So what makes that, that's what makes it even more impressive to me is the guys that are lifting in the same numbers as you. A lot of those guys are equipped and you're doing it raw. And just to the layman out there just watching, they wouldn't know the difference. I've talked before about a famous video where Ronnie Coleman, everybody knows who Ronnie Coleman is, the Yeah Buddy and lightweight baby guy. I think he was 8-time Mr. Olympia. There's a famous video of him with an entourage. Have you seen the video?
I might have.
He's with his entourage, and they're at the gym, I think, down in Dallas, and he's getting ready to squat 800 pounds.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
And, he's getting his knee wraps on, wrapping them, and then he's got his buddies, and they have to, like, pull him and push him in to get him into his squat suit. And he goes over there and he does 800-pound squat which Hagen says is not even to depth. I think he does 2 reps.
Yeah.
And then it's, this video has been viewed millions of times.
Yeah.
Hagen does that on a Sunday afternoon at the
Yeah.
Indie Fitness Gym
2
with
times a week.
nobody watching.
2 times a week, right? Yeah.
With no one watching. And he doesn't have the squat suit, and he doesn't have the knee wraps. And so, it's just amazing to me. It kind of is an exposure thing. He doesn't live in Dallas, Texas. He doesn't work out at some big-name gym. He doesn't have his entourage.
Yeah.
As you guys can't tell, Hagen's pretty freaking quiet, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he'll do that. Like he will come in here alone. This gym could be dead empty, and he'll put that much weight on there and just do his thing. Like he's not. I mean, it's incredible, dude. And the depth of the squats and the the style of the way you do it is just. I mean, it's one of a kind for sure.
So what is the ultimate goals
For
powerlifting for Hagen Henderson?
Man, if I get my pec healthy, I'd love to be able to say like I could bench press 600 pounds one day. And then obviously in the long run, I'd love to deadlift over 900 pounds, maybe push 1,000 one day. And then squat, as long as I stay healthy, which I have so far. So knock on wood, hopefully I do stay healthy. I could see myself being, the first person or, if somebody does do it now, the lightest person to ever squat like 1,100 pounds one day. That's my big goal.
That'd be amazing. And I don't think that we've even come close to seeing your potential yet, because you've only really been you took about a year off or 8 months where you were just kind of going through the motions, kind of in your head a little bit, and had other things going on in life. And now that you kind of got your head straight, things are going up quickly. I think we've talked about it, and I don't feel like 1,000-pound squat is unrealistic in the next 6 months.
Not at all.
I think that's definitely there in the next 6 months.
That's just
The 2 kids, right?
it's crazy.
Yep. One's new, more
Newborn.
recent. Yeah.
Yep, I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Yeah. And still coming in here and just thugging it.
And working a full-time job.
Yeah.
And, driving this distance, it's about an hour drive just to get here to this gym. What is it you like about it? And I'm kind of asking you to brag a little bit, but what do you like about Indie Fitness?
I mean, it's just, the gyms that I'm at that are down in Chanute or around where, because I lived in Humboldt, they're more just like your commercial gym, all nice machines, stuff like that. But for the actual weightlifting side of things, it's not very ideal for what I do. I mean, every time I go to the Humboldt gym, I have to grab every set of 45-pound plates if I want to squat. Right when I get there, I got to grab them all. But every time I come here, I just love, the fact that there's all the nice equipment for when it comes to the strength side of stuff. I mean, you got the nice Rogue plate or bars, you got the nice metal plates, deadlift bar, and then, I've made a lot of friendships here, I feel like. I mean, just the whole environment here just feels like get in, get to work, but at the same time, have a good time.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that we really pride ourselves on, me, Julie, Otto, Sally, the things that we really pride ourselves on is that everyone feels included. There used to be another gym in town that catered more to an older crowd, and when it closed, a lot of them came here, and there was a lot of, how is this going to work with the young crowd lifters, and then the older crowd of people who walk and do a lot of cardio and just hang out. And it's been a really cool thing to watch, because I'll be here in the morning. I've been here in the mornings where there's a guy out there lifting weights, and he'll take his shirt off and he's posing in the mirror, and then some of the older ladies are like, "Hey, can we take a picture with you?" And they're like, it's kind of cool to see.
They're meshing.
Yeah, meshing.
The 2 worlds
well,
are
yeah.
meshing.
Yeah, but it works out pretty well. So what's coming up for Hagen, lifting wise? Do you have a meet coming up soon?
Yep. In 4 weeks from now, I'll be lifting in Provo, Utah at the Reach Rumble meet. Yep.
Okay, and how does someone, I can just go sign up and I could join this meet, or?
No, it was actually one that I, reached out to them to see if there was any possibility when they had some people drop out if I could join. And they had told me, we'll talk to the people running the meet, we'll see. And then they came back to me a few weeks later and said, as long as I hit 1,000 kilo total, then I'm in. For sure I'll be in. And so I turned around after that. 5 weeks I went and totaled 1,000 kilos right after they told me that, and managed to qualify for that. And so now I'm in that, and I think it has right now 7 or 8 of the top 15 people in the world right now lifting at that meet.
So I think the idea is to come in and shock the world.
Mm-hmm.
Put Hagen on the map, because the disadvantage to living where we live is no one knows who anyone is from here.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of very special people like Chance Main, who sits over here. Most of the time he's been here for every podcast so far, but he just went to the mini camp for the Minnesota Vikings not too long ago. He's tried out for NASCAR pit crews. They've called him. Now you got Hagen Henderson over here doing things that nobody else is doing, especially at his age and size.
But it's a different road for it, because it's at such a small town. So you know what I mean? If these people were in a bigger place, then those opportunities wouldn't be it would be easier to come by, to get noticed and to get established and stuff. I feel like between both of them, it's been like a road. You know what I mean? Like a pretty
I think that
extensive road.
The World Wide Web, the internets, social media has made the world a lot smaller. Meaning, 20 years ago, no one would have ever heard Hagen Henderson's name for doing the things that he was doing. But now that we have access to, right here in Southeast Kansas, we're doing a little podcast, and it's, kind of getting some traction. There will be people who watch this. You have a lot of followers on your Instagram and YouTube, and some of them will probably going to see this, and then someone else will see it, and then your name's going to start getting out there, and people will know who you are. And I think networking and getting on, getting the exposure is what's going to make you give you the credit that you deserve to have.
And then what you do with this next thing, you know what I mean? It's gonna be wild, bro.
Yeah,
it's gonna be wild for sure.
So also big news you put out on your Instagram here a few weeks ago about the Arnold. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, they I had seen that they were doing their first round of invites to the meet that they normally host at the Arnold. They do 2. They do one through USAPL, and then they do one through the XPC powerlifting, which Larry Wheels broke a world record there a few years ago. But yeah, they had followed me on Instagram and stuff, and then the guy messaged me and seen if it was something I'd be interested in, and yeah, from there he just gave me an invite right after they did their first round of them and stuff.
So that means you'll be in Columbus in, what is that, November?
No, that one's at the end of February.
End of February.
Yep.
Okay, and you're going to go there and do like an exhibition, or is it a contest, or what is it?
No, this, so they used to do it like they do the XBC meet. It was in like a pretty big corner area at the expo. Like they do it at the expo, but this year I guess they're doing it in an actual facility right beside the building. So they're going to do a pretty nice venue for a pretty big meet.
Is it a full powerlifting meet then?
Yep.
So you'll do squat, bench, and deadlift there?
And then hopefully I'll lift in the animal cage and do the squat events that same week. So
that'd be really cool, really cool. All right. Anything that we left off about your career? Anything you want to talk about?
Nope.
Okay. So there was a few other things that we wanted to get to today. There were some questions. There were some questions. One of them was, when is Otto going to take his shirt off? He said not today.
Yeah. I need a little more time. I don't know, man. I was capping.
So there's a couple questions that I want. I think they're pretty good questions, and I'd like to get your input and your input on them. First one is from Allison. Is there anything you wish you could change about the gym culture? For me, for me, the gym culture, there's a few things that I wish I could change about it. Kind of half joking, if you could figure out a way to get people to rack their weights, You'd be a millionaire. I mean, every time that we've asked for suggestions, people say, have people rack their weights. Well, what a novel idea. If I could figure out how to get people to rack their weights, I would sell that idea to gyms everywhere, and we would just clean up. We wouldn't have to ever work again because it is the biggest problem in any gym. But no, the gym culture, with Joey Swoll making a lot of videos. I haven't seen a lot of those in a while, but he used to make a lot of videos where influencers type people would make videos in the gym, and then they would call out people who walk through their video, things of that nature, and make fun of them. We've talked about it before, and here at Indy Fitness, man, we do not tolerate at all disrespect towards any lifters. The way I look at it is, if you're in the gym and you're putting forth the effort, then I applaud you.
Yeah, you're in it.
I don't care what shape you're in. We all started somewhere.
Yep.
And it doesn't really matter what level you're at as long as you're getting after it. I mean, I'm not making fun of people that haven't made it here either.
No.
So I'm certainly not going to make fun of the people who are here getting after it.
Yeah.
No matter what shape they're in. Is there anything about the gym culture you'd change?
I mean, you hit on it pretty much. One thing I don't know if it's like something I would change about the gym culture, but just how people want to be in here. There's a lot of people that want to be in here and they're not because they just, I don't know, they say they don't have time, or they got this going on or that, or they're just like, some people are like, oh, I got to get a little more in shape in my garage before I get in, and then I'll start coming to the gym and stuff like that. And I don't know, it just kind of irks me a little bit that, like, they should be able to just come in here. And
there's a saying that I hear so many times is, I've got to do something.
Yeah.
They tell that's the slogan. I've got to do something, and they like pat their stomach or.
I had someone. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I had someone who has been a member here for a while. I'm not going to name them. They've been coming, and they asked about the turf room in the back. They're like, I wanted to go back there. Like, what's all back there? And I'm like, do you remember? Like, what do you mean you remember? And they're just like, the person was like, anxiety a little bit, and just they found their routine in this smaller area of it. But like, I felt for the person, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, well, like, I don't know if that's something I would change about the gym culture, but I'm just like, why is it?
It just sucks that people feel the anxiety.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
That they don't feel comfortable. And if there's anything that I can ever do to make people feel more
right.
comfortable, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I love watching people change. Is there anything about the gym culture that kind of bothers you?
I feel like whenever I first started, I felt like there was a lot of people that, they judge a lot. I feel like you still have that, but I feel like the more, like, as fitness as a whole just keeps growing and growing and growing, I feel like there's just so many different avenues down this you can go that I feel like there's always going to be your supporting group no matter what you're doing. And I feel like for me, it's just, being somebody that just accepts everybody here, because I feel like what you're saying, with people having anxiety to come here, it's already like a hard thing for a lot of people. So I feel like.
Is there anything, like, what's your why? Like, why do you choose to do powerlifting? Why do you choose to go to the gym? Is there like a mental aspect to it? Physical? What is it for you?
I feel like for me, it's just, you'll never really see me doing high reps or anything like that. Like, I'm somebody that just loves to come in here, and it helps me just like clear my head. Lifting heavy all the time. I've done that ever since I started. I never once followed a program. It was just more of just kind of, get in there, get stuff done. I felt like whenever I was going through some stuff in life, the gym was always the thing I could just blare my music and just kind of zone everything out. And, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing, but I always just would remind myself nothing is heavier than life. So for me, lifting heavy all the time is nothing. I've been told that, it's not sustainable. It's not this.
That was
it's not
dope.
the other.
Whoa.
That was
Hold
fire.
on. T-shirt I
Yeah, that was some heat, bro. Like, that's exactly what I thought when he said that. I was like, oh shit.
come to the gym. Nothing is heavier than life.
Yeah, that was gas, dude.
Bro, we might just have a new slogan
Yeah.
for the podcast.
Yeah, I'm about to get rich.
Man.
That was good, dude. Wow. All right.
Wow. Yeah, so we're going to go into another question. Then I want to talk about kind of like the Facebook post that I made that apparently was like a 4 o'clock in the morning thing that I did that was just something that was on my mind. And I want to talk about that, which kind of
Yeah.
goes into what he's talking about. But let's go to this other question. This question's from Marissa. What keeps you motivated to continuously go to the gym on a regular basis, and how do you incorporate that into your daily routine, especially if you have children? There's a lot in there. There's a lot to unwrap in that. For me, going to the gym is, before we owned the gym, was my getaway.
Yes.
How that I cleared my head, how that I dealt with stress, anxiety, depression, and all those things. I'll tell you, I know this. I think Marissa has a small child. I don't think she's at the same level that I was at. 4-year-old, I'm being told by Marco.
Doing his job for real. Doing the hand signals and all that. Okay.
Yeah, hey, I didn't even introduce Marco over here, man. This place wouldn't be running without him. There would be no show without Marco.
Yeah.
Another slogan. There would be no show without Marco.
Oh, shit.
You know, for me, when I've showed you guys in one of the episodes my 300-pound picture, when I was just at the end of caring, I had no ambition, no drive. I just had the constant pity party and felt sorry for myself. And I had a couple kids still at home. And now they weren't 4. They were, I believe probably about 12 and 15, somewhere in there. And every time I had started a diet or started an exercise plan, and someone would always feel sorry for me, like see me not eating and not eating the things that they were eating, and they'd say,
Here, buddy,
hey,
here's a cookie.
Just come on, one cookie's not going to hurt. Or
And you're like,
and
just fighting.
But you know what? I would give in, not necessarily because I wanted the cookie, but because I didn't want them to feel bad for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then other times, this really bothered me, was they would say, hey, we're thinking about getting pizza. And I'd say, no, you guys go ahead. And they're like, well, if you're not eating pizza, then I'm not eating pizza.
Like you're alienated.
Well, like it made me feel as if I was depriving them.
Yeah. You're
And
punishing
so,
them.
Yeah, like they were being punished. So when I finally flipped the switch and decided this is what I was going to do, I sat my family down. I called a family meeting and I said, hey, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be missing some things because I'm going to exercise. I'm not going to be eating the foods that you guys eat. I want you to continue to be able to do the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
You get to continue eating pizza, you get to continue sitting on the couch and doing nothing, or you get to continue going and doing the things that you're going to do, maybe a party of some sort or whatever, but I'm not going to be there all the time because I've got to take care of me. Because if I can't take care of me, then how am I going to take care of you guys? And so I kind of just when I've told people about this before, I say, you have to become selfish. And it may only be for an hour or two a day, but you have to be selfish. You have to tell your husband, no, you're going to watch the kid because I'm going to the gym, or I'm going to go out in the yard and go exercise. I'm going to go do something to better myself for an hour, and I'm going to be selfish about it because you have to take it serious. And it has to be a priority. We talked about in episode 1, it's just what we do now.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no question, am I going to the gym?
I'm a different person if I don't go in one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys can agree, like it's just a different kind of day that I would rather not have if I don't go to the gym the kind of way that the rest of the day folds out or something, versus if I were to go, like I'd rather go.
Like,
You know?
we have a little group chat amongst our friends here at the gym, and one of them, a guy who does construction, and this is a very, 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 very busy time of the year for him, and he put on our group chat the other day, I missed the gym because I had so much work to do. Now I can't get any work done because I missed the gym.
Yeah, I think I read that.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not missing the gym again just to get some work done, because it really helps him set his entire day. You know, there's a lot of people. The busiest time of the day at the gym is 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be hundreds of people in here. I cannot wait that long. And I know you do that, right? You like to work out in the evening.
So this is a funny question. So when we first started this thing, like of you giving me this job and stuff, you were like, hey man, just make sure you handle the customers and do the chores, and then you can work out the whole rest of the time. And I took advantage of it, dude. In the past few months, things have changed. So and it would get to me really bad. Like not being able to work out. Like I'd come suit up to work out, rush through the chores, probably a little bit half-assed. You know what I mean? Sorry, bud.
I've noticed.
Well, but that's the thing, is that's been over for a couple months. It used to really bother me, but once I just rearranged my schedule to where the days that I work here on the weekdays, I don't work out. I just handle business, because it's blossomed so much, and like it's just better to be available, especially when you're getting paid to be available, you know? So, but yeah.
If I don't work out in the morning, I'm not going to hardly get a workout in. Now, the weekends are a little bit different.
Yeah.
I'm going to have some extra time, and I can, after we get done with this today, I'll be out working out for a while. But I got to get it in. But I'll tell you, this is, business is business and family is family. My daughter is in town, and she asked us this morning to go eat lunch with her today. And I said, I just can't be there. I have other priorities. And so if that's me being selfish, then that's me being selfish. I mean, I would love to have dinner with her, have lunch with her. But I had Marco coming in. I had, Hagen and you and a lot of other people depending on this. And I wasn't going to change the time at the last second and try to spring that on you guys. So sometimes you just got to be selfish, Marissa. And sometimes you got to just set that kid down in front of an iPad and say, here, sit on this couch and watch this cartoon while mommy goes and hits these weights. Because that's the only way you're going to do it, is if you just make it a priority. And
the more you do it, I mean, it's a marathon. It's a game of chess. Like the more you do it, the more you're going to see. And it's just like, you know what I mean? The more consistency you have, the more you'll look in the mirror and say, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like I'm kind of beastie, and then it makes you want to go more and more and more, and then you'll figure out how to get it to be in your routine, whether you have kids or a hectic job or whatever.
Something else I kind of want to bring up before I get into my Facebook post that I had made. Please no one think I'm comparing myself to Hagen, because I'm not. But when you come to the gym, you see people of all shapes and sizes, right? Otto, very low body fat, muscular, really
keep going, baby.
really looks the part. Really looks the part.
Yeah.
And then you see people like Hagen and I, and you think, what are these fat guys doing at the gym? Like, what are they even doing? And I always tell people there's lots of different kinds of fitness. I mean, there's been a lot of people that, I work a full-time job. I come here in the morning and work out, then I go to my job for 8 hours, and then I usually come back here for 4 hours in the evening. And so we eat dinner here.
Yeah.
We eat Brahms sometimes. We eat Taco Bell. We eat what's convenient. And so many times people will come up to the counter and make a comment about the food that I'm eating. Hagen, about how many calories do you think you consume a day?
It just depends, honestly. I mean, I bet the number would surprise you. Sometimes it's literally probably 1,500, and there's some days where it's probably like 4 or 5, maybe 6,000. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it will fluctuate, like especially during the work week when it's hot right now. I mean, if I'm lucky, I'll wake up and eat breakfast, but by the time I get to work at 1 till 11:30 at night, I mean, I probably will only eat 1,000 calories worth of stuff.
My point of saying all that, though, is kind of this. Like those people who say, I've got to get in shape before I come to the gym. There's people of all shapes and sizes in the gym. It's so funny to me because, people worry about how much they weigh. There are people who literally come in here weighing 100 pounds and their goal is to gain 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And then there's people that come in here weighing 400 and their goal is to lose 100 pounds or 150 pounds or whatever the case may be. But if you think that the gym is just a place where there's a whole bunch of people that are in shape, then you need to come to a gym.
Yeah.
Because that's not what it is at all. It's a whole bunch of people trying to do better than they did yesterday. Mm-hmm. It's not about perfection. It's about the journey, the camaraderie and the friendship. And
Yeah. And like you said, I respect all different types. I respect the body blasters, the yoga, the power lifters, the HIIT class people. I respect the people who are doing none of those things and they just got a trainer and they're coming out there for their first or second time or third time. I respect it all as long as you're in here.
The 90-year-olds, literal 90-year-olds walking around the walking track.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one guy probably in his 80s the other day tell me he wasn't doing much, and I said, "You're lapping everyone who stayed home.
Yeah.
Like you're lapping them." So I mean, it's not about perfection. It's about the journey. It's about all that. All right. So I want to transition now into a Facebook post that I made. That's going to stick my old cast up here, my walking boot up on the table. Hold on. Old walking boot. Got to get my headphones back on now. I can't hear. So Friday of this past week, I had surgery on my foot. It's been a long time coming. I had what's called a Morton's neuroma. Basically, in layman's terms, there's a nerve that runs between the bones in your foot that lead to your toes. They're called metatarsals. And those metatarsals were squeezing that nerve, and that nerve would swell, and it would feel like I was walking on rocks or wadded up socks, and it was very, very painful. And it's been going on for a couple of years. Went through therapy, shots, everything to the point where we just got to the point where we had to do the surgery. There was really no other options. A lot of people would ask me at work, I'd be walking fine in the morning, and then by the afternoon they're like, "You got a hitch in your giddy up.
Yeah.
What'd you do to your hip, or what'd you do to your knee?" And it's always been my foot. So anyway, this Friday they cut the nerve out. They make a small incision in the top of your foot and cut that nerve out, stitch it back up, put you in a walking boot, and tell you to go home and rest. And told me to sleep in the boot. And so the first night, I knew I was going to have trouble sleeping. So I got some, what's that stuff you chew up and it's like you bite over the counter. It's like, thank you, Marco, melatonin. Took a melatonin, chewed that up, went to sleep, slept for about 2 hours, and then woke up not really in pain, just uncomfortable with the boot and the heaviness and the hotness of having my foot wrapped in all this black neoprene and gauze and everything. And so I really started to get depressed. Like it had already been working on me. And I laid there feeling sorry for myself. And I let that happen probably way too often. And then I just lay there in bed for a couple more hours. I can't really do much because I've got this boot on. And so I grab my phone and start endlessly scrolling, wanting to go back to sleep, and I can't. So I end up making a Facebook post about mental health issues and depression. Now, I've never been to a psychiatrist or a psychologist to be diagnosed as depression, but I know what depression is.
Yeah.
And the way that I deal with it is the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't really do that. Like, you know, I feel like I can't really do that with this walking boot, and I feel like it's going to set me back a long, long time. And I made this Facebook post and had it was on my own personal page. I had no idea that there were so many people that felt the same. I had, I don't know, 30 or 40 comments on the page, 200-300 likes and you know, emojis. And then I had friends just out of the woodwork sending me text messages, people that I barely knew sending me DMs on Facebook, telling me that they deal with the same things, that I'm not alone, that you know, and it's interesting because I don't want for much in this world. Like, I have everything that I want and everything that I need monetarily. And there were people who reached out to me who have way more means than I do, that said they go through the same thing. So money is not going to give you happiness. Money is not going to take away, you know, your feeling of inadequacy or your depression or your angst. There were people who are in really, really good shape who reached out to me and said the same thing. You know, I deal with these same issues. You're not alone. I heard over and over and over that you're not alone, and people thanking me for having the courage to say it. Now, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I was on very little sleep. If I would have had a clearer mind, I may not have said all the things.
He was high on melatonin.
Yeah. All I wanted to do was go to sleep, really.
That's what that random "I love you so much" text was for.
Yeah.
Is that right after the post or right before? Yeah.
Right after, yeah. So anyway, my point is everyone has something. And there's an old saying that says, watch how you treat people because you never you never know what someone's going through. And from the outside looking in, someone may look like they have the perfect life. But we all have some things that we're dealing with. You know, I have a business, a very stressful job that I work, and then trying to get the workouts in, trying to maintain relationship with my 5 children and 3 grandchildren, trying to be a good friend to you and Marco and all my other friends and be part of their lives and man, it's a lot of pressure.
Some days you feel like you're just stretched
to the limits.
Yeah. And I can relate to that too. And I don't, you know what I mean? My picture is painted differently than yours. It definitely has some similarities in it, and I'm sure you have the same thing and you have the same thing, but it's crazy, dude, how you could just feel so stretched and it might not even be that bad of a day, and then a week later that same similar day happens and your mindset is different and it just ain't shit. You know what I mean? That the next time you go through a similar feeling, you're just like, bro, I got this, like, stretch me farther, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, dude. It's just it's the mind and the way that it, I mean, I wish I knew.
You know, my buddy TJ has a really good saying that we have first world problems. And really we do, because none of us at this table wonder where our next meal's going to come from. We don't wonder if we're going to have a bed to sleep in. We don't worry about those things. Like people in other countries do, or even people in our own country, the homeless people and the people that just don't have the means to have a good roof over their head or a good life. And I have a good life, so I really don't have anything to complain about, but that doesn't fix the depression in my head.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, just having a so-called great life doesn't mean that your brain recognizes that. And I would love to have someone come in here and talk to us about this, the psychology behind it, and a psychologist or something, and find out, you know, the body dysmorphia.
All of it, yeah.
I mean, there's so much to life that we bring to the gym. There are so many people here. We talked about it before. You saying you wanted liposuction, and I'm like, on what? I have no body fat. When are you going to get liposuction? Me and Hagen are sitting over here like, I got some stuff that we could liposuction if you want to liposuction something.
Sometimes, and this doesn't really count for you. You're too far up there. But sometimes when I can't lift as much as like you or something like that, like it doesn't just bother me. It's just like it fucking hurts, dude. I'm like, I've been doing this shit forever. Like that's cool that I look all right, but like I'm just a weak bitch,
Yeah.
And then I'll try harder and harder for like my bench to go up or something like that, and it just won't. I'm like, there's nothing more I could be doing. Like, why is it not going up? You know what I mean? And it would just like mentally like make me sad, dude. Like I get super upset.
In my Facebook post, I put I don't even know if you even read it because you didn't.
I'm on it. To be honest, if it wasn't for this podcast, I was leaning towards no more social media.
Yeah, well,
but
it's interesting.
You guys love us, so I'm here.
You said that though is, comparing yourself to me or to other people in the gym. Is I talked about the two quotes that keep me going, and one of them is my 2024 motto. I told everybody on the first day of the year, my motto is comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
Man, you have so much to be happy about in the gym. Like, can you do a muscle up? You're one of the strongest men in the world. Can you do a muscle up?
About 2 years ago, I almost could, but no, I cannot. No.
Otto can do muscle ups.
Yeah.
I don't get in my feelings about his muscle ups. That's not true.
But bench is cool.
Yeah, but
everybody likes bench. You know what I mean?
There's so much things that are cool, but being able to take your shirt off and be proud of what you look like, that's something. I made that pact with myself on my birthday. That on my 50th birthday, I'd take my shirt off and post a picture, and
you did, and popped a couple little abs out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I never worked so hard to be lean for a picture of my body.
He's like, I was so hungry
to look so average. But that it just comparison is the thief of joy. I'll never be as strong as Hagen. I don't know that I'll ever be half as strong as Hagen, which is fine.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm learning to root for other people.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to do because I sometimes get jealous and I sometimes get envious of other people.
I for sure do.
Yeah.
And I'll own it. And it could be, all different types of jealousy. Sometimes I get jealous of you, like your success. I'll be honest. Like sometimes I'm in here like working and then I'm just like, man, he's just like winning. And I forget that you're like really grown and really been working at this longer than I've been doing it for what? 18 months, 2 years, you know what I mean? You've been doing this your whole life ever since you made that turn when you were young to just...
The funny thing is I don't feel like I've accomplished anything.
Right, yeah.
And so for you to think that, I'm flattered that you think I've accomplished something, but I feel like I haven't accomplished anything.
But it goes back to like we were talking earlier, like the mind, you know what I mean? Some days I'll be jealous of you the other day, but most days I'm like, I'm trying to catapult you even farther, you know what I'm saying? Like you were the other day, you're like, oh, I feel like you just like agree with whatever I'm doing. I'm like, well, shit, if you're winning, then I'm trying to agree with whatever it is to win, And so, but it's just every day is different,
The other quote that I put on there, and I don't know what went through your mindset when you had your 8-month pity party, but I'm just
damn,
calling it.
I call it that too. So.
It is what it is. Like he was ready to stop lifting and just put it all behind him, and brings me to the other quote that I put on there is no one is coming to save you.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I wanted Hagen to realize his potential and I wanted to grab him by the wrist and say, come on, get your ass in the gym. Let's go. You're going to be the strongest man in the world. He was in his head.
Yeah.
And I think at some point he realized no one's coming to save me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got to do this myself. I mean, is there some truth to that? Or
Oh yeah, 100%.
so what do you think was going on?
I really honestly don't know. I mean, I feel like, I was on like the uphill with lifting, and then all of a sudden I went to nationals, had kind of a bad deal there, and had some life stuff happen right afterwards too. And then you just kind of feel like, oh, well, these few things is just too much. And,
Yeah.
And then at the same time, then my son was only 1 at the time. So then you start getting that in your head, like, wow, okay, so now I'm already like feeling sorry for myself. But then you start thinking about your kid, and you're like, wow, having depression of I'm not good enough, or I'm not gonna be anything or whatever. And then once those start being in your head, it's hard to be like, all right, turn the page, let's go. Like, we got to move on, we got to go. And I feel like I always battled with that type of stuff. So then, like, when I was down, it was like I was down for a while, and then I'd hit rock bottom and have to climb right back up. But now I do the whole, like, I try to remind myself, even whenever I'm having a bad day, just, control what you can control. And if you can't control it, don't let it control you, So I feel like I have a lot of those days where I got to just keep reminding myself that.
Yeah, so and Hagen sometimes gives me a lot of credit for him coming out of that funk, and I know that he's talked to you about it too. Like, we didn't do it, bro. All we did was say, hey, we believe in you and we're here for you. You did the work. Like, we don't get the credit. We don't deserve
Yeah, I
the
can't
credit.
spot you.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, if you get a bench press on your chest, I can't deadlift that off you. So I don't
Shit.
know. Like, I run around and take the weights off real quick, help you dump it. But, you have done the work, and you're the one that deserves the credit. And all things that happen in the future, I really feel like you're going to break the squat record someday. I really do. I don't know why I believe in you so much, but I've seen you succeed more than you fail. I don't think you even have any idea where your real limits are on these lifts. And I think that it's just a matter of time before you break a world record. And I just want to be the guy, like, standing in the crowd rooting for you. That would make me happy. That would be everything I need is just to be there to say, like, I know this guy. I watched him struggle. I watched him, almost quit.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's holding a world record. Or winning one of these big contests, with these big name lifters that have their own TV shows. I mean, they have their own Netflix specials and their own TV shows, and they can't lift what Hagen can lift. Fuck out of here, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the sky's the limit for what he can do, and I think, we're going to see it and we're going to witness it. So if you're not following him, I mean, what do you want people to follow you on?
Instagram's probably the one I'm most active on. It's just my name, Hagen.Henderson, on there.
Hagen.Henderson on Instagram. You have a YouTube channel also. Also, I think if you Google your name, some other videos that other podcasters have made pops up.
Yeah.
And there's the world is starting to recognize who he is.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's slow. Like, they're a little bit behind, but just like everything in Kansas, we're always the last,
Yeah.
It's got to work its way in from the East Coast and the West Coast and before it gets here. But when they figure out who he is, I mean, it's going to be game over for a lot of these power lifters. So
Yeah, you have to make a lot more enchiladas. Figure out a mailing system.
Yeah.
so anyway, man, I think we're a little bit ahead of schedule, but
This was good.
I think it was a good day. Marco, any parting words? You got anything you want to say? 2 thumbs up.
He loves to be like the official. We'll get him over here, dude. He's coming.
I tried to get him to come sit in today. He didn't want to. Maybe next week. Hey, next week on the show, we're going to have a personal trainer, Devin Packett. You can't hack it with Packett.
Yeah, the truth.
The truth.
Yeah, he's the truth, dude.
Devin is a young and up-and-coming trainer in the gym. I say he's the best because the best is the busiest, and there's nobody more busy in the gym than him training clients. So look forward to talking to him next week. He's also training Marco.
Yeah.
So we'll get Marco up here because Marco was like, hey, I want to get in shape. And Otto said, hey, me and Chad will pay for some sessions. Oh, okay. I'm down with it. Marco.
Next week is your week because I'm hurting, bro. Shit. But yeah, that's what it's all about, dude.
Yeah. So anyway, until next time, appreciate you guys. We'll talk to y'all later.